So probability, first of all, before solving, we need to understanding what do we mean when we say the probability. So in a simple way or in a simple meaning, we say that probability is a measure of how likely an event is likely to happen. So probability is one of the topic which apply in our real basic life. So for instance, in your life or in our normal life, sometimes we need to we can be in a position of trying to know maybe, or we want to predict the future. So we say that we are living in a world which has a lot of uncertainties. So because there are uncertainties, for instance, yesterday it was Independence Day, right? So it was the day before the Independence Day. Most of the time, most of the people get prepared themselves on the food reserves, and most of them they preferred to stay at home. So because they didn't know that what will go to happen maybe on that day. So me probability probability is the topic which can help us to predict that maybe that event can it happen, or that event will not happen. So when the higher probability, when there is a high chance of that event to occur, means that we are sure in some way that this event maybe will likely to happen. So you can imagine, maybe you want to go to make an interview, and suppose you are the total candidates, maybe the total candidates they are maybe 500,000, right? And they only need only 10 people to be employed. You see? And only 10 people to be employed. So, and you are the one who you want to attend this interview. So for the mathematicians, before going even to that interview, he or she can make a probability calculation, so that him during the preparation, or to know the expectation of whether the interview is going to having a chance of getting employed or not. So you can find that the position the contestant is going to be taking place, only they need only 10 people. But you see, there is a high number of the candidates who want to compete for this position. So you can find that when you take the probability of this event, you can find that the probability of being employed, it is very 0.00000. I think it is very large number. It's so in mathematics, when we say a number is starting with 0.00, we mean that this is the largest number. But in a meaning way, we say that this is a very possibility. There is a low possibility of that event to occur. So you can opt, maybe if there are another maybe way of competing, so you can live in this interview. You see, yeah. So that's how probability can help us even in our daily basis. But I remember that my teacher of mathematics during those days, he he used it to joke us and tell us that probability, because we say that before that jokes, maybe let us seeing this meaning of what do we mean when we say probability. So we say that always probability of any event, it will range from 0 up to 1, or percentage-wise. So this in terms of numbers, or in percentage-wise, it will range from 0 to up to 100%. So we'll never expect that the probability to exceed 0 up to 1 or 0 up to 100%. So he used it to joke us and tell us that when you calculate the equation of probability and you find yourself, maybe you get an answer more than one, greater than 1. So he used it to tell us, just put a X on that equation, that you are not correct. But the other jokes which he used it to tell us, he said that in probability or in mathematics, we say that we have only. So maybe maybe before I introduced to you this kind of jokes, maybe can I ask you that, is there anyone who is sure that tomorrow will be alive? And is anyone who is sure that tomorrow too? For those who are believers, I think all of us, we believe that God is our creator. So basing on that beliefs, are we sure that tomorrow all of us, we are going to be alive, or we are going, or all of us, we will have a good health? Maybe you wake up in the morning, you find yourself that you are fine. Do you have that? Sure. No. So because we believe that during the sleep of 80 hours, anything can happen, right? Oh, I don't know, in 60 hours. I think when we sleep, maybe there will be 60 hours. So in mathematics, in simple way, we should not waste time. We say that the only uh, sure event which we have, yeah. So the only sure event that we have in mathematics, we say that it is only death, right? When you put exception for those I think those who are the Christian, we believe that some of the people in the Bible, they are not they did not experience death. So when you put those exceptional, I think for all human being, we expect that all of us, we are going to die one day at a different time. So the sure event which we have in our real life, it is only the death, that we know that one day each one of us will experience these things. But the other events which we have, they are probably. That's why the mathematicians, they came up with this topic, because of the event that all the event we have, we are not sure that even tomorrow maybe you are going to wake up. So we are not sure that maybe you are going to, and all of the thing. I think when you try to think yourself, you can experience, or you can sense that each and everything, they are probable, so they can happen or they cannot. What they cannot happen. So that's why there is a great importance of learning this topic, right? So by that briefly, or simple probability, I think that it can be just a simple introduction. Okay, so tulichokuwa nakimaanisha ni kwamba kwa lugha yetu ya Kibongo hapa nyumbani, tunamaanisha kwamba probability ni measurement ambayo inafanyika katika kuangalia kwamba event inaweza ikatokea au isitokee, na tunasema probability siku zote inatakiwa irange from 0 up to what? Up to 1. Na probability tunasema kwamba event zingine zote ambazo tunakuwa nazo zinakuwa ni yani tunasema yani kutokea kwake hatuko sure. Mfano kwa wale ambao tunapenda mpira, maybe juzi walicheza, ndio tunasema ni Azam na Simba, si ndio? Azam na Simba. So Simba, they were expecting to win this game, right? Also Azam expected it to win this game. So the event ilikuwa ni either Simba ashinde, Azam ashinde, au tunasema they wana draw, si ndio? Draw, kwamba watoke matokeo sare. So it was either Simba to win, Azam to win, or draw. So expectation, kwa you see this tayari hapa inatutengenezea sisi probability, because Simba ndio kama mashabiki wanaweza kusema kwamba wanaenda kushinda hii game, si ndio? Au Azam mwenyewe anaweza kusema kwamba wanaenda kushinda hii game. Lakini wote wanaweza kushangaa labda wachezaji mpaka tutafika dakika 90 kwamba hakuna aliyefunga, kwa maana yake ni draw. So we can be in a position to find that we mathematicians, kwa washabiki watakuwa na hisia tu kwamba Simba leo tunashinda kwa sababu anaipenda Simba, si ndio? Washabiki wa Azam na wachezaji wa Azam kwa sababu wanaipenda Azam na ndo kazi yao, wao watakuwa kwenye side ya kwamba wanaenda kushinda game. Lakini pia mchezo wenyewe unaweza kaamua kwamba pande zote mbili wakafanya nini, wakadraw. Kwa hiyo wachezaji watu wengine wote wanaweza kana wakawa na hisia tu, lakini sisi watu wa mathematics hatuwezi kwenda na hisia, lazima tutengeneze nini? Tutengeneze probability. That's why kwa wale ambao wanafanya betting, ambayo sio kitu kizuri sana, lakini sisi tunajifunza tu kama watu wa mathematics, because aliyekuja na idea betting ni 100% application of what? Application of probability. Kwa mtu mmoja tu ambaye alijifunza vizuri topic akaja na akatoka kwenye huu mfano wa hizi games, akaamua kuingia kwenye nini? Kwenye betting. Kwa hiyo zile odds zinapokuwa zinapangwa, zote zimepangwa according to probability. Kwa hiyo na ni AI pia ambayo inasaidia kwamba wanaangalia labda hii timu uwezo wake, wanaangalia historia yake, kwa hiyo wanatafuta chance. Ndio unakuta kwamba timu kama kubwa kama zina uwezo sawa, unakuta odds zinafanana. Kwa wenzangu wa mama na wadada, mtatusamee, najua wengi mambo ya betting labda mnaweza kama myafahamu, lakini ni vizuri kufahamu kwamba hii betting inatokana na kitu gani. Ni kwamba ni application ya probability. Kwa hiyo hata na wewe kesho na kesho kutwa, maana yake unaweza ukaja ukasoma hizi topic, ukawa mtaalamu, ukafanya kazi kwenye ama kampuni ya betting, au kaja na kitu chako ugunduzi wako. Kwa hiyo vitu vyote vinawezekana. Kwa I think this topic na ndo kinachofanyika kwenye hizi kwenye hizi betting. Lakini zile odds haimaanishi kwamba ndo probability, kwa sababu odds sometimes unaweza kukuta wameweka 4, wameweka labda 5, zile ni namba, ndio maana wameziita odds. Hawajaziita probability. Lakini probability maana yake mtu mzuri kwenye probability anaweza kaangalia kwamba je, kati ya Simba na Azam, kwa wale vijana ambao wanafanyaga betting huwa wana apply probability bila wao kujijua kwamba wanafanya, yani wanaona kama ni hisia, lakini kuna hesabu ambazo zinaweza zikafanyika, ndio huenda zikawa sio hesabu za calculation, lakini kuna yani wanachoki apply ni kama probability same, hawajaiweka katika scientific way, so they copy what is probability. I think kwa wale ambao ni mara ya kwanza mnajifunza hii topic yao, mlijishaye kujifunza lakini hamkujua inatumika wapi, inafanya kazi gani, I think you get something from there. So maybe kama kuna swali lolote kwanza kwenye introduction ndogo ya probability kabla tujaendelea. Is there any question? Kama kuna swali lote. Tuendelee. Okay, so let us continue. Okay, we have also, so we need to know, after knowing the meaning of probability, that we say that the probability measure likely an event, how likely event is to happen, and we know that the range for probability is from 0 to 1. So we need to know even the formula. So we say that the probability so we say that the probability of event is equal to favorable outcomes, or the number of event. So we can write number of event dividing by the total number of what? Total number of events. So the other one can use events, or the other can use the word outcomes. So you can see here they have used the outcome. So even you can choose to use the outcomes or the event. So you can see here, so the probability of event, this is the probability of event is equal to number of event divided by the total number of event. So the other one, you can say that maybe probability of event is equal to favorable outcomes divided by what? Divided by the total number of outcomes. So the other thing which we need to know in probability are the key terms. So we need to know what are the key terms when we learn this topic of probability. So the first thing is the experiments. So you know, in mathematics, I think the only topic which we have experiments is the probability. So when we say experiment in probability, what do we mean? So when we say the experiment in probability is not the same as those who takes physics or chemistry or biology. They need to go to the laboratory. So for us mathematicians, we don't need to go for the laboratory, but we say that experiment to us, we are going to define as a process. We are going to define as a process that it produces outcomes, right? So that's the simple definition of our experiment. So that we say that a process that produces outcomes, for us it is experiment. So the other key terms which we have the sample space. So the sample space, when you hear the sample space, what do you mean when you say the sample space? So we say that the sample space are all possible what? All possible outcomes. So all the possible outcomes, we call them sample space. Or we said, or from the previous the previous formula which I displayed, we said that the total number of what? Total number of event. So the total number of event, we call them, first of all, those are the possible, are the all possible outcomes. So by mathematical good term, we call it a sample space, right? So when we hear the sample space, we mean that the total possible outcomes or the total number of events. Okay. So the other terms which we'll be using in our topic are the event, and when we say the event, sometimes the other literature they use event. So for me, I think I prefer the letter E rather than letter A. right? I prefer letter E rather than letter A. Okay, so we say, when we say the event E, the event E, so we say that the event is equal to sub what? To subset of sample, subset of sample space, right? So when we hear the sample, the event, we mean that the subset of sample space. So those are the key terms which we need to know them, especially in this topic. So the other thing which is very important to know, we need to know the types of events, right? So the first one, we have the simple event, and this simple event, I think we shall see them. They are not complicated, and most of the time this event are known. For instance, when we say that maybe we toss a die. Do you know a die? I think for those who unakuta sometimes you find that your child is playing something like this. You see, so I think for those children, it has 6 sides, I think. So you can find it, maybe here it's written 1, in this side 2, 3, 4. I think for those and the 6 maybe. Kodai ni kama kidude fulani kinakuwa kama kipo kama kina mstatili, kinakuwa kina pande kama 6 hivi. Kwa unakutaga mara nyingi watoto wanapenda kuchezea, kwa waga wanapenda kukirusha hivi, unakuta labda anavirusha, kinadondoka labda namba 4, anaambia mwenzake, ote tutokea namba ngapi? Au vingine unakutaga vinakuwa vina doti nyingi hivi. So waga ni kwenye michezo ya watoto. Kwa hiyo kile kinitoga edai. Sawa, kwa hiyo tunajua kwamba edai ina 6 side. Kwa hiyo maana yake nini? Kwamba namba ya sample space itakuwa ni ngapi? Itakuwa ni 6, si ndio? Lakini mfano kuna event nyingine ambazo tunazijua, simple event ni mfano those who play cards, si ndio? Karata, cards. Tunajua kwamba kadi zipo 50 ngapi? 52. Si ndio? Kwa hiyo subset of sample space. Kwa hiyo tunajua kwamba kadi, number of sample space za kadi obvious zitakuwa ni 50 ngapi? 52. Na for instance ukisema labda k, ile k au OQ, tunajua kwamba zipo ngapi? 4 each. Ndio? Kadi unakutaga zipo 4 each. Kaso na joka, au tukisema le joka, si ndio? Joka, jokeri, si jokeri, joka yanakuwa kubugi mawili, si ndio? Kwa hizo ndo subset ambazo sample space ambazo unatakiwa uzijue. Also we have compound event. Compound event are those event which happen jointly. So how? So for instance, unaweza kaulizwa ukaambiwa kwamba Charles rolled a die and tossed a coin. Ambao tunajua kwamba a coin has a 2 sides, right? And the first side it is head, and the other side of the coin this is a coin, right? Shilingi oga na pande mbili, na kichwa na mwenge, mnaitaga kichwa na mwenge, tail, right? So those are the compound event. Lakini compound event, that is a mathematical example, but the real example of compound event example Nitajie ni event gani ambazo lazima ziende mbili, yani kuna event ukifanya hii lazima na nyingine ifanyike. Sijui ni ipi hiyo. Compound event. Anyone who can give us the example of compound event? Mimi nimetoa hii ya mathematics ambayo tunaambieni kuna event gani ambayo hii ikifanyika lazima na nyingine ifanyike. What I think maybe if you don't study event ya kwanza, if you don't study, I think the other thing is to fail, right? Is to fail. Maybe mtu mwingine anaweza kaguess a good example, mtu ambaye anaweza katupa ya compound event. Hello?
No.
Who can try? Hamna. Okay, so the other type of event is independent event. And independent event we have, for instance, when we have the probability of A intersection not B. So this in mathematics you say that this is equal to say is like to say you take the probability of A times the probability of what? Of B. Also we have the independent event. The independent event also we can say that maybe we have we can say that maybe we have we want to find the probability of A intersection B. So we say that also this it can be equal to when you take the probability of A times the probability of A of B, sorry, of B over A. I think when we shall go for solving you will understand it. The other types of event which we have the mutual exclusive. Mutual exclusive event, we say that maybe we have, example, we have probability of A union B of B. Those are the example of events. So we need also to know the rules of what? The rules of probability. So we have additional, we have mutual. So let us start with the additional one. So for additional one, we have the exclusive what? The exclusive additional rule. So in additional rule, we say that when we have the probability of A union B is equal to, say, probability of A plus probability of what? Of B. But also we have the additional rule which is not exclusive. So for not exclusive, for the same probability of A union B is equal to say that probability of A plus probability of B minus the probability of A intersection what? Intersection B. So you need to know these formulas, right? This should be stuck in your head. Those are the additional what? Additional rule. Also, we have the multiplication what? Multiplication rule. So for the multiplication rule, we have example, we have probability of A intersection B, which is equal to probability of A, right, times the probability of B over over A. I think I will show you how do you mean when you say probability of B over A very soon in these rules. So the other rule, we have the complementary rule. So for instance, maybe you have the probability of A complement, right? So this is equal to say 1 minus probability of A. So whenever you find the probability of complement, maybe complement A, so just know that is equal to 1 minus what? Probability of A. Those are the sum of the basic rules which apply on the probability, and we need to know them because they will go to help us. So the other thing which we need to know also is the distribution. See, so we have the probability distribution, and the probability distribution, according to our level, we are going to study the discrete distribution, where the probabilities of countable outcomes. You see, so probability distribution, we have discrete. The first one, we have the discrete probability distribution. So the discrete probability distribution, we mean that the probability of the probabilities of countable outcomes. Countable. So countable, when you say the countable outcomes, it means that we can count them by numbers. I think when you say the countable numbers, we know, right? So they say that the probabilities, discrete probabilities, are the probabilities of what? Are the probabilities of what? Of countable countable outcomes. Right. So also the other distribution we have in probability, we have continuous probabilities. So continuous probability distribution. Right? So when you say when you hear the continuous probability distribution, we mean that these are the when we want to find the probabilities of the areas under the curve. Under the curve. So that we say that those are the continuous probabilities. And the continuous probabilities, we are going to expand them to learn them on the number 6 here below. So we have the common distribution. The common what we say, this common distribution are the result of this continuous what? Continuous distribution. So we have binomial, we have the Poisson, and we have the normal. So I think this, when we reach to this point, I think we are going to learn what do we mean when we say the binomial, the Poisson, or the normal, right? Yeah, so don't worry, just ignore for now, just relax. So the other thing which is very important also to know, it is expected value. So we say that when we want to find the expected value in probability, is equal to summation of number, is equal to summation of those values times the probability of that number. So if you are careful, that means that when you take the probability of event is equal to number of what? Number of event is